Okay.
Okay, which one?
Well, I'm down for it.
There's so many.
They're all good ones.
All right, if you could only do one, which one?
I like this one, bro.
This one right
This one's wild.
Yeah. It's our pleasure to discuss you.
You know this artist hates her dad.
Yo, I brought my boys to MoMA PS1 in Queens, which is like a world famous art museum in New York. And we're seeing this like, you know, contemporary art and like, this ain't art, mad loud so everyone can hear it, right? Then we walk into the gallery one time and there's an image of a photographed woman who's topless. And they walk into the gallery and 3 of my boys go, ooh, okay, damn. There was part of me that like, the fake art part of me is like, hey, like we're in a gallery, like don't do that. But the real part of me is like, let's welcome all interactions about art. You can see some titties and be like, ooh, damn. As long as you get people engaging with it, looking at it, talking about it, you're engaging in the human experience of perceiving art. We're going to talk about butts, Denver Art Museum.
How can we not? If we were to not talk about a butt in
weird.
This painting, people would be like, well, you're not appraising art correctly.
Look, it's smiling. It's smiling.
Is it smiling or screaming?
I mean,
Or bleeding? That's
this
what
day
sheeps
and
do.
age. Oh, they bleed?
Bleed. B-L-E-A-T.
Oh, bleed.
Bleed.
I'm like, she's not bleeding yet. She looks.
I just love the idea of like someone trying to analyze this. You know, they're like, as you can see here, the lines of the scales. It's fish, dude.
It's just fish. I can't tell if he's trying to super recreate it and make it look realistic, or he's trying to like add some flair, some fish flair on it.
Here's the thing: if he did the first one, he failed because that lobster ain't looking too good.
Oh, that's a lobster? Over there? Oh.
What do you think it was, bro? Because we always assume that every art that's in a museum is perfect, and I don't buy it. I think, bro, I'll see someone like in a turtleneck go like, and it'll change my whole perception of that piece. I'm like, that must be the best.
And they live for that. Artists
about
live for that.
But think about this, bro. Comedy, the requirement of comedy is that you have to elicit a primal reaction every 10 seconds, right? So that has to be like every 10 seconds, has to be brought forth, right?
Yeah.
That's the hardest thing possible in any art. That would be like if for a good painting to be considered good, every 10 seconds, the guy had to be like, every 10 seconds.
And then the artist is over there in the back like, I'm killing this gallery.
That's what I'm saying.
Camille Pissarro.
Yes.
Pissarro.
You were very worried about pronunciation.
Yeah.
I think it's okay to just Americanize and say Camille Pissarro.
All right, cool.
Unless you really speak French, you'd be like, Camille Pissarro. But
That's probably what he would want. He wants us to Americanize his name, right? If I know anything about the
Camille
French.
Pissarro, dude. Here we are at Camille Pissarro's painting. Look at it. Hell yeah, Camille.
Like, hanging out with Salma was just like, it felt like having her honest interaction of being like,
Does the frame, I'm looking around, have anything to do with this painting?
the frame of the, like, you mean like the actual?
Yeah. I prefer the frame. Is that bad?
I like the frame. Meanwhile, it's like an Alfred Sicily beautiful impressionist painting worth millions of dollars and just lost on her. She's like, oh, it's a good frame.
I'm getting like a
I like
coffee.
to be jacked up. Jacked up.
Yeah, this is.
I just want to have like 6 cups of coffee and look at this painting.
This feels like cocaine.
Usama, that had a totally different flavor because Usama and I are like, we're more similar in ages. And it was like, and we were both like, I felt like challenged each other to make each other laugh. So it was kind of like a reciprocal relationship. And we were both like,
I get a drugged out vibe from this.
yeah, she
But
was
again-
actually on Adderall when she painted this, which is also kind of like cocaine.
Adderall is cocaine.
Yeah.
For the thinking man.
Like having takes and like learning from each other and stuff like that. And that was so much fun.
That's what I always loved about these paintings too. It's like, it's just a beautiful kind of scene. You're like, what beautiful title have they made for this? And it's like, woman on grass sitting, Women sitting grass, chilling, splayed. Women
Woman with dog.
women with grass stains on ass.
But also, you probably did like 10,000 of these joints.
Yeah.
Like you really, the first one you want to name, and the 10,000 one you're like,
Yeah.
woman, grass, boom.
Bitch on grass. Sitting bitch.
This is an incredible chair. 1849. That's a beautiful chair. Not comfortable, beautiful.
To me, it looks like a terrible, terrible chair. Adam was really cool too because like Adam's my senior, right? I'm kind of like bringing him into this thing we're doing, and I'm like, do you like it? Am I doing something cool that you like?
And I know it's like the most obvious choice, but dude, I love Vincent van Gogh.
What do you love about him?
I mean, it's like the tortured artist cliche, but I think that trope came from him. And I like his story of like not being famous in a real life and being destitute. I just love like sad, mentally ill Van Gogh painting the paintings that would define history, but like he had no idea he was doing that. He's just like, I think this is the best shit ever. Also, I'm losing my mind, and like later we're like, no, it was the best shit ever. I feel so sad for that guy, but I'm glad that his art is celebrated.
I think I've been keenly aware of it my whole life, because I grew up in Queens, New York, like going to schools where the hallways were as crowded as trains, and you would be stepping over kids who just got jumped. And then at the same time, I would go home and I would watch something like The Wonder Years. And I would be like, why can't life be like that? Why can't I just be worried about getting shoved in a locker and someone being like, nerd? And I always felt that there had to be another way, that there was something out there. And I was always being sold it on American television. Like for a while, my biggest dream was to like go to like a garden party, like one of those things where like everyone's wearing white and they're discussing their investments and they're like, and maybe they're talking about art. And for a while, I always felt I was looking on the outside of it. And only once I got older did I realize I don't need those people. I don't need to be accepted by them. But what's weird is kind of like now so much of what we do is we're pushing up against the art world. And so many institutions have told us no, that, oh no, you can't joke about art, or, oh, our clientele wouldn't want that for this reason, and you have to, and I'm like, but why not? So I've always wanted to like push up against these places where they told me that I couldn't be or we couldn't be. And that's where we need to be most. We're rolling? All right, so before I tell you about this painting, tell me how it hits you.
I mean, this one, I immediately felt drawn to it. It's very large. I think it's the largest painting in here,
I
probably.
like that you're using large instead of big to sound fancy.
No, it's large. It's not big. It's large.
You're right.
I
It is
think.
grandiose.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's
it's.
how you say the word.
I mean, obviously, the little creature in the back is very, eye-catching. Shape of Water. That's what I.
You thought of Shape of
I thought
Water?
of Shape of Water immediately. I don't know what that says about.
So this painting
the
is
media,
actually,
but-
this painting is a story. It was painted somewhere in the 1800s, and what this is, it's a depiction of a family of circus performers, and they just had their child like in the circus, and obviously he's a performer, he has to make money too, and he got in a terrible accident. And I think that's what's so cool about this painting is you see this idea of like these performers and like their beautiful image, and she looks like a queen and he looks like a creature, and then here's this like very human,
dark, tragic
side of
reality.
them
Yeah.
with this like busted up baby child.
So that's a man in a costume.
That's a man in a costume.
Oh, okay, so when I saw it, I thought it was like
He's a
he's not
creature.
really there. I thought it was like a figment of like what is happening.
No.
Like just an imaginary kind of like depiction of this tragedy.
Could you
But
imagine getting a head wound and then being comforted by that?
yeah, that's why I'm like, this is like
sounds
just
like a nightmare.
interesting to look at. It is nightmarish, this painting.
Yeah, I think a
And-
lot of things like make it like that like grayish background
Yeah.
of it So like you look directly at that.
But I'm trying to think, without the guy, the creature, it's like a whole different painting. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, you're right.
it would be like, I probably wouldn't have looked at it. You know?
Yeah.
I would have been like, oh, like, something's very sad. But
And
he's really, you know,
there's
drawing
a lot-
me in here.
There's a lot, yeah, because he has like such a tender expression. I feel
His
like
eyes.
there's a lot of layers of sadness. This woman, like her job is like she's pretending to be royalty, and it's like she's probably making
Right.
pennies.
Right.
She's like the modern day version of like, you know, when someone goes to Disney World and their whole job is to
Yeah.
pretend to be like Princess Jasmine, but that really they make $12.
Yeah.
It's like that's like, hey, you're pretending you're rich and that's your
Right.
job, and then you go home and eat lean cuisine or something.
Do we know the accident? Or it's an acrobat?
Oh, they're acrobats, yeah, you're right.
Okay.
So yeah, it was a fatal performance. So the child died.
Damn, that's really
You
sad.
got anything funny to say about that?
No.